Peru is located in the central western part of South America. It shares borders with Ecuador and Colombia to the north, Brazil and Bolivia to the east, and Chile to the south. Due to its strategic position, Peru is a regional hub and international bridge for trade with other countries in Latin America. Peru has 33 million inhabitants and is divided into 24 departments and a constitutional province, its capital being the city of Lima. Peru is a country with a millenary culture and imposing archaeological cities such as the sanctuary of Machu Picchu, one of the 70 wonders of the world and declared World Heritage Site. Peru is synonymous with nature and one of the countries with the greatest biological diversity and natural resources in the world. Peru was recognized in 2019 by the World Travel Awards as the best cultural, culinary, and tourist destination. It is also a paradise for adventure lovers who enjoy experiences such as trekking, mountaineering, mountain biking, surfing, paragliding, hang gliding, canoeing, and kayaking, among others, with landscapes that awaken emotions. Peru is a country that looks to the future with optimism. Our economy has spearheaded the Latin American boom in the last 15 years, and it never ceases to surprise the world with its strength in resisting international crises. In 2019, Lima, the gastronomic capital of Peru and the world, hosted the largest Pan-American Games in history. Lima was recognized for its impeccable organization, sports infrastructure, and warmth of its people, always ready to welcome with their open arms those who want to explore it.
Welcome to Real Estate, Z&Z, Peruvian company oriented to the development of real estate projects. I am Carlos Agazeta Nolasco, General Manager. I want to tell you about my background. I was an officer in the Peruvian Navy. I entered the Navy Academy in 1982. I graduated with honors as salutatorian in all 5 years of the Navy Academy. I decided to retire in 1997 and to go into private business. At this stage of my professional career in the Navy became the vocational school that gave me leadership, organization, discipline, and teamwork, skills, and competencies. I knew that the challenge was not going to be easy in private companies, so I decided to improve myself academically, and I entered to study an MBA at the University of Piura, a university of recognized national and international prestige. In 1998, I joined IBM of Peru, an information technology company of international prestige, probably well known to you. I have held important positions in the business operation area. During the 8 years that I was at IBM, I developed skills and abilities in project management and business management. This is how I became my business training school. In 2005, I made another important decision in my professional career. I decided to resign from IBM and accept the general management of a service company, a company known as Total Group, led by an American holding, which successfully entered to Peru. As general manager of this company, I developed projects for the construction of commercial premises. Then, Total Inmuebles was created as a real estate company oriented exclusively to the construction of houses. During my career as a general manager of Total Inmuebles, I have managed projects for more than $100 million that included of the construction of more than 5,000 real estate housing units. We have developed projects nationwide, both on the coast and in the mountains of the country. We have gained and acquired a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge in the execution of these real estate projects. Among these experiences, we identify a very important opportunity where it was a great demand, which in fact still is, for low-income housing. This is how Total Inmuebles focuses on the comprehensive development of real estate projects to build affordable housing. These type of projects have subsidies from the state government of Peru to promote the construction of these houses for the poorest people. With the execution of these real estate projects, Total Inmuebles during my tenure as general manager became the position as a leading company in the development of low-income housing projects, becoming recognized as the first company nationwide in the execution of this type of project. At this stage of my professional career, I acquired knowledge and experience that led me to make a very important decision. Once again, I decided to resign from the general management of Total Inmuebles in 2012 and form my own. As a result of more than 30 years of a professional career and acquired real estate experience, Z&Z was born in 2013. I decided to develop my own real estate projects in partnership with my brother, Mr. Eduardo Sagaceta Nolasco, who, with his experience as general manager also of other companies, contribute with their contributions in the management of the Z&Z Group. The company Z&Z is oriented to the integral development of construction real estate projects. We carry out all the activities of the processes prior to the startup of a project, such as technical studies, project licensing, and permit procedures before the entities of the state. Then, we execute the construction, the building of the houses, and finally the legal physical sanitation, the registration in public registries for the delivery of property titles to the future owners. For this, we have two subsidiary companies that help us in the part of the services and in the construction part. And at the same time, with a team of professionals that I have been incorporating throughout the development of these years. People who have worked with me in previous companies, who have knowledge, experience, and an important added value for the organization. In the company, we have three clearly identified functional areas. The first, the area of administration, finance, and operations. The engineering area. And the commercial area. All directed by professionals with a lot of knowledge and experience in the development of these types of projects. In these years in Z&Z, we have been executing real estate projects. The first of them, called La Pedrera, located in the city of Iquitos, capital of the department of Loreto in the Peruvian forest. Iquitos is a city with very important potential and economic growth. It has tourist attractions and a lot of traffic of people from abroad and from the interior of the country to this city. It is in this city that we have executed La Pedrera project, a construction project of 100 homes for the Navy Housing Fund. A very challenging project. The project concluded successfully, and it is a satisfaction for us to see families who are already enjoying their own home. Another project we have been executing is the project called El Palmar, located in Surco district of Lima, a project that includes the construction of 10 apartments on 6 levels, a multi-family building with common areas, elevators, semi-basement, parking, first-class finishes. The civil works are finished. We are at the moment in the finishing stage, and we hope to conclude the construction of this building at the end of the month. In Carabayllo district located in the north of the city of Lima, we have executed the project called El Sol de Torreblanca, which includes the construction of 34 low-income houses under the program promoted by the Peruvian government through the Ministry of Housing. Then, we are doing the fitting of 300 lots, supplying them with electricity and water so that in the future people can acquire their lots of land and each one build their own home. Another project that we have been executing is a project for the rehabilitation of agricultural land in the department of Piura, located in the north of the country, approximately 1,000 kilometers from the city of Lima. This project is developed on an area of influence of an aquifer that allows supplying this entire area with water. What is this project about? Is equipping land with electricity and water so that agricultural developers can later come on and plant their products. We are currently executing a 35-kilometer electrical network laying to bring energy to this point. We are executing this project in partnership with an investment fund. While this project was being executed, I identified as a business opportunity to be able to do the same, alone, without this investment fund in 2,000 additional hectares that I have identified as available. This is the electrical network that we are currently building. This is the access road that is an up and paved trail that we have to improve. There we see the transformers with which we are going to supply electricity to the land. Finally, we are drilling water wells in such a way that we can supply enough for the crops. We have an estimated flow of 40 liters per second, an important and interesting quantity, acceptable for agricultural development. And all these on the Zapayal aquifer that is in the subsoil. We are the main office of C&Z located in Surco district for the inspection visit of the representatives of South Pacific Funds and Commerce Limited to present them the new projects that we plan to develop for and for which we are seeking funding. We are joined by Mr. Alex Stiglitz, CEO of South Pacific Funds and Commerce Limited, Mr. Ernesto Garza, Director and Associate of South Pacific Funds and Commerce Limited, and Mr. Oscar Ortiz, Regional Director of South Pacific Funds and Commerce Limited. We have two new projects in the portfolio, as project located in the department of Piura and another in Carabayllo district here in Lima, which are the ones that I have come to propose. Let's see a bit, starting with the Piura project, how the agricultural sector is in the country. The agricultural sector has very important competitive advantages that have made the growth of this business area at the national level very significant. Among the advantages we have that there are seasonal windows. That is, when in other countries of the world they do not have the possibility of harvesting their products due to seasonal issues, but here in Peru it is possible. In other words, we produce and harvest when they cannot in other places. We have more than $6 billion in exports, with significant growth that we are going to see below. My topic is not agricultural. I am not an agricultural developer. How do I get into this sector? Indirectly through this. We currently have 100,000 hectares in the country dedicated to agro export, and it is expected that this number of hectares will double as a result of sustained growth that we are having. Consequently, there will be a significant demand for land and can be used for development of potential agricultural. We see here how the sector has grown from 2005 to 2015. It has gone from 1,000 to more than $5 billion in exports. The trend, as you can see, is very important. What countries are we targeting? Actually, to several, mainly the USA, Holland, Spain, Germany, and other countries in the world. What are the regions that we have developed the most throughout this growth process? Number one, Piura region is with more than $2 billion in exports. The projects we are focused on is located precisely in this region. I had shown you the growth until 2015. Let's see how we go from 2015 to 2019. From about $5 billion of exports, we are now at 7,000, and it is expected to close this year 2020 with more than $8 billion in exports. The trend continues to grow. These are the products that are traditionally exported: avocados, blueberries, artichokes, fruits, and citrus. What are the problems that agro-industrial companies encounter in order to continue growing? Land shortages. And why lack of land? There are definitely lots where they could continue their growth. But these are lands that have some legal complications because they are not duly registered in public registries, because they have social conflicts with some owners or invaders, because they have liens, loads that they have not been able to lift, because they do not have water, they do not have electricity, and they do not have access roads. We as real estate company take care of correcting all those critical factors so that agro-industrial developers can come and move forward, have a ready land, be able to show which is what they know how to do it. This project is located in Piura region. It is located 50 kilometers along the main asphalt road and a firm trail that is part of the scope of the project, that we have to improve a 35-kilometer access road to get to this point. The port of departure of the products is known as the port of Paita, the second most important port in the country after Callao. The scope of the project is to do something similar as I have already previously mentioned, that we are currently doing: supplying electricity, drill water wells, equip the land with irrigation systems and some reservoirs, so that the final investment of the developers is specifically oriented to its cultivation. This is the location of the land that I have previously shown you, that we are currently executing an energization project, drilling water wells in partnership with an American investment fund. This project has participation as partners. What I have identified as part of the execution of the project is that I can do exactly the same but alone. And that's because I have the opportunity to continue buying these parcels of land and continue to expand the provision of land up to the 3,000 hectares in total. The second project for which I am seeking financing is the project called La Pradera de Torre Blanca. It is located in Carabayllo district. Carabayllo is about 25 kilometers north of downtown Lima. It includes the construction of 1,000 apartments on lots of lands that we are currently working on enabling them. This is another priority that we plan to use for the construction of a clinic. The buildings will go in these two blocks, initially with the possibility of expanding the project later in the following blocks. To get the project, we have main access roads: the Panamericana Sur, which is the country's main highway, and important avenues such as Universitaria Avenue and Tupac Amaru Avenue. that will take us to our corresponding residential construction project. This is the location of the land at kilometer 25 of the Tupac Amaru, 25 kilometers from the center of the city of Lima, where our project will be developed. We are currently carrying out electrification and water supply and drainage works for all the lands. This project belongs to a real estate agency that will sell all these lots of lands to us, and that is where I identified the opportunity to acquire these lots of land and turn it into an apartment project under the own construction program that I will explain below. Let's see how the market works in Carabayllo, which is the place where we will develop our project, is here. The center of Lima, which is the entire area and is classified as segmented within the group of districts that belong to North Lima. This is the demand for a study carried out by CAPECO, which is the Peruvian Chamber of Construction, recently released. This is the situation of the country's potential housing demand. We have 2,700,000 households, of which 913,000 have a housing need, but these 913,000 families unfortunately do not have the possibility of being able to qualify for a mortgage loan to acquire their own home. From these 900,000, we have an effective demand, that is the people who can qualify for a loan and do have the possibility of accessing their own home, and 483,000. This is the number of families that we focus on. Of those 400,000, almost 500,000 families within Lima, specifically in Lima, we have 214,000, and if we continue segmenting, we arrive at Metropolitan Lima City, where we have need for 800,000 homes, which is the focus of this study. From those 400,000 and almost 500,000 families that we have with a quantitative deficit, let's see how many are currently being built and sold. The year 2019, 18,000, which means that I need, or we need as a country, 10 years at this rate of sale and construction to be able to cover the gap that we currently have been between demand and supply. However, it is estimated that in 10 years the demand will double, with which this gap will be almost impossible to close with the current rate of construction. Let's take a look at North Lima, where the Carabayllo district is located. Of these 18,000 units sold throughout Lima, only 1,300 went to this area. Let's see now how these houses built and sold are distributed. If we speak in millions of square meters, we have 5.9 million square meters. And if we see how these have been distributed by type of housing, the housing programs promoted by the government so that people with the lowest incomes can purchase are under the own roof program, my housing program. Of these 18,000 houses sold that we have seen, the majority are focused on traditional sales of mortgage loans with banks. In the own roof program, it is the red line that we see in the lower part, practically null. In other words, the offer is very limited. Of the reduced offer, very few houses are aimed at the poorest segments. This is the home ownership program promoted by the Peruvian state through the Ministry of Housing. It gives you a subsidy, a non-refundable bond, a gift voucher, so that families that meet this requirement can purchase their new home. With this 37,000 soles bond, people can pay the initial fee, and if the initial fee is less, they do not have to return anything. The difference or the remaining balance is applied to the mortgage credit. For these, certain requirements must be met. Have a family group made up. Do not earn more than one income limit as a family group. That the apartments in this case or the houses do not exceed these prices. In other words, the state subsidizes this housing program on the condition that developers sell the housing units for no more than these prices. In the project that we are focused on in Carabayllo, in which we plan the construction of multi-family buildings, we have a selling price of 107,000 soles, approximately $30,000. Carabayllo district, on the land where we will carry out the residential project. We have the participation in this preliminary inspection the representatives of the group South Pacific Funds and Commerce Limited. Among them, the CEO, Mr. Alex Stiglitz, is Regional Director, Mr. Oscar Ortiz, and its Associate Director, Mr. Ernesto Garza. We are at Torre Blanca urbanization in Carabayllo district, located 24 kilometers from the center of Lima on Tupac Amaru Avenue, a high-traffic avenue that is going to become one of the most important in the city. On this location, urban rehabilitation works are being carried out so that these lots of land that are marked in yellow can have all the basic services so the future owners can later build their own homes as far as possible. The project that I have come to propose for and for which I am looking for financing consists of buying these lots of lands in such a way as to be able to convert them into multifamily buildings, and that is how we can, for example, in block number 8, which comprises 46 lots of land, build 200 apartments. If we replicate this construction, we can build 1,000 apartments in total throughout the project. As part of the urban rehabilitation project, public recreation areas have been planned located on the perimeter of the urbanization, both in the northern part and in the center, in such a way that families that acquire their own homes can share spaces with children, with games for them, recreation and leisure areas for all. We also have a lot destined for other uses where we plan to build a hospital and a clinic. In this way, all owners will have a recreation and health service. We are now located in blocks 8 and lots of lands. In front of this block, a painted blue, we have reserved an area for education in such a way that we can build a school in the future, and that it can allow families to have educational services for your children. The construction of sidewalks is currently being carried out on Block 8 and 9 of the urbanization. The company that owns these lands plans to sell the lots as such. That is to say that the families buy the lot and later, according to their possibilities, they build their own houses. The project that I propose, for which I am seeking financing, consists of acquiring these lots of land and being able to develop the construction of multifamily buildings. In the projects that I plan to carry out, it comprises blocks of apartment building of 5 levels, 8 apartments per level, 200 apartments in total in each block. In the central block, we are considering the possibility of executing 1 or 2 commercial levels, currently to supply themselves with these services. People have to go to the main avenue, Tupac Amaru Avenue, and travel about 3 kilometers to reach the nearest commercial areas. This is the expansion of what would be a block of multi-family buildings. It includes 8 apartments on each level, apartments of approximately 50 square meters with 2 and 3 bedrooms, a living room, dining room, kitchen, and a bathroom. Here we have a panoramic view of what the building blocks will look like. In this approach, we have the central block where the first and second levels will be used for commercial premises, parking lots, walkways, and gardens. And finally, a view of the entrance of the buildings to access the apartments. It is worth mentioning that with the experience of our previous projects, we have very good commercial relations with the main suppliers of construction materials and supplies for the execution of our future projects.
Our real estate company Z&Z focuses on the development of comprehensive projects for the design, habilitation, and execution of building works. In this way, we can offer a turnkey service to our clients. Likewise, we are willing and open to participate in the execution of these projects with other companies with experience in the sector, in such a way that we can receive technical advice and exchange of services. Companies associated with the South Pacific Funds and Commerce Limited Group abroad. International from Europe, for example, the company Dynamo in Monterrey, which has regional offices here in our country, directed by the architect Ernesto Garza Chavero. In this way, and as part of our business objectives, we want to consolidate our company Z&Z as a leading company in innovation, technology at a national level, and also to be able to expand internationally and consolidate ourselves in Latin America. Between July 13th and 30th, we received a visit from South America Funds and Commerce Limited Inspector. We have carried out field visits, we have reviewed the project, and we have done inspection work in our offices. We have discussed the forms and terms of financing. We are talking about an express bridge loan that we could help to acquire the land and carry out the preliminary and initial works of the projects. Subsequently, a long-term international loan that may be used for the execution and financing of all comprehensive projects. In the case of the bridge loan, we required an amount of $10 million for the acquisition of the land and to be able to start the projects. Likewise, for the execution of the integration projects in both Lima and Piura, we have estimated an approximate amount of $43 million. We have also been informed that we have to prepare a video in both Spanish and English, which is the one we are making at the moment, that we will be copied to the USB and we send to the main offices of the South Pacific Funds and Commerce Limited Group. As part of the preliminary inspection of our projects carried out by the representative, the Regional Director Oscar Ortiz of South Pacific Funds and Commerce Limited, we have reviewed the financial information of the projects of both the Lima project and the Peru project. We have reviewed the investment requirement for each of them, both for the bridge loan and for the long-term loan. In the case of the bridge loan, we have received information that we could have a grace period and a payment term of 1 year, to then be able to have the long-term financing that could reach up to 15 years. All the amount required for the investment in the project have been shown and reviewed, both in percentage amount and specific amounts for each of the items, and in this way to ensure and demonstrate a correct use of funds. About guarantees, we have real estate both nationally and internationally to be able to guarantee investments. These properties have been technical information from public records, characteristics, commercial value, and all the information that is required to be able to guarantee investors. We will make all this information available to you before the legal closing. I am Carlos Belisario Sagaceta Nolasco, General Manager and owner of Z&Z Real Estate. I hope this video has been to your complete satisfaction, and we count on your support to soon obtain financing for our projects.